Still blocked by the splintered turtle.
On the north. The turtle didn't make it through.
Right, but it's still blocking the other side. I'm completely disagreeing with you.
You are 1,000%
and you're wrong.
No,
you're
wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You are wrong.
Not. What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. I am Nate. Joining me, as always, is the worst of the two, Zach.
Oh, shit.
How's that for a little pepper, bitch?
Oh, shit. Oh, you're still on that. It's been like 3 weeks running.
I know.
You hear how salty he is?
What up? We like to read A Song of Ice and Fire here. As I mentioned, we are full spoiler, so if you haven't read them and do not want the spoilers, I recommend you go check them out and come back to us.
That was very nice. Get the fuck out if you haven't read them. And then come back once you have.
And then we're friends again, I guess?
Yeah, we're Sour Patch Kids. First we're sour, then we're
got
sweet.
It. Cool.
Yeah, we enjoy reading things here. No craziness.
No craziness? Since when?
I was going to say in the
craziness.
fandom so far, like we got the Night of the Seven Kingdoms trailer. You know, we're all still just patiently, and as great fans do, just waiting for Winds of Winter patiently. No issues there.
No cries of people dying.
Here's something funny I want to bring up, though. I fucking hate the House of the Dragon subreddits.
Sure.
It is wild.
Vitriolic.
How vitriolic people on black and green sides.
Sure.
It's nuts. Like, do you all realize that they're all bad people? like they're all shit. It's literally keeping up with the Targaryens. We talked about this during our coverage of the show. Like, House Green, House Black, they're all assholes. Like, What the fuck?
It's that in this world, as fans of ASWAF, you need to understand that the only good people, and even this is a bit of a stretch, are the small folk. The people who are just trying to live their goddamn lives. And even they do some horrible shit because of the world you live in. So if you want to be fans of the Greens, if you want to be fans of the Blacks...
Right, I like them, whatever. That's cool, but
don't
act so...
Right, acting like the fans of the other side are... out murdering people, nailing them to crosses every mile.
How could someone like Rhaenyra? I don't know. Maybe they just like Rhaenyra.
Maybe she's a badass bitch.
It's fine, right? Like, I get it. The show is clearly, taking some liberties, and I'm not saying the show is all that great. Obviously, Nate and I stopped covering it because we were kind of meh on it. But yeah, there's just a lot of craziness I see on Reddit. I am not a part of either subreddit. And I refuse to be because of that exact reason. I don't identify as Team Black or Team Green. I think...
He's Team Zach.
Right.
And I'm Team me.
I like Alicent. I like Otto. I like Rhaenyra. They're
fun characters,
They're all fun characters, but they're all crazy. So, let's all take it down a notch.
To be honest, that's a big part of the reason why the Brotherhood has stepped away from a lot of socials, was because of the vitriol that was following the end of the show. Yes, we also agree there were huge problems with that final season, with the final few seasons in different ways. Doesn't mean I don't like the show.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I'm going to hate everybody in the world who doesn't like the show.
Right.
Chill the fuck out and watch the goddamn show.
Yeah. One of many reasons we stepped away from social media media in general was just, it wasn't it's a cesspool, and it's a cesspool I'd rather not dip my toes in. So we're quite content just letting you guys write into us with stuff that pertains to what you're interested in, what we're interested in, which is just some good old-fashioned discussion.
Speaking of happier things, we are actively working on something brilliant and wonderful and new for y'all.
Gasp.
We did ask, an episode or two ago if you would like us to potentially, cover a different series or books.
Who said that?
We got a lot of different responses on some of the series that were interested. We did have one person write in about a specific series that I think I also take interest in. So, again, stay tuned for more updates and news on what we're working on. We've got some big announcements coming up. With that, I think we should step back into World of Ice and Fire.
Step back from that ledge, my friend.
No. No.
You just gonna jump?
I guess
Go
so.
for it.
I'm jumping back into Jaime, who we covered last episode.
Hey.
He was basically handling his business there in King's Landing. He started out in the small council meeting watching lovely little Tommen sign off, some of the worst orders in the history of the kingdom because he doesn't know any better. He legitimized Ramsay Bolton. He gave the castle of Riverrun over to, was it the pool?
Jenna.
Westerlings.
No,
Oh, no,
Jenna.
it was Jenna, right?
Jenna
and her husband,
Lannister and Emmon Frey.
Emmon Frey.
The Westerlings got their pardon, and I believe also, nope, they don't get Castamere. It was Rolf Spicer got
Castamere. Yeah.
But yeah,
so
the Westerlings got their
stuff.
pardons.
Jaime takes off from there, runs into some Cersei problems up in her room. And yeah, they basically have their breakup, and she is not pleased. We get Brienne brought in by Loras, and they have their fun back and forth. And then, yeah, their rebound. Jaime gifts her with a sick-ass sword, and
Oathkeeper
gives her the quest to find and save Sansa.
Yeah, he reveals to her that, well, we also see Jane Poole being
right. I
masqueraded as Arya Stark and heading up north with Steelshanks, and Jaime reveals the truth of that to Brienne, that it is in fact not Arya Stark, so don't go gallivanting off. Although, Brienne, please do go gallivanting off and save Jane Poole from that horrid fate, but we all know that that's not going to happen because we're full spoiler. You were already warned. I don't want to hear you bitching.
And we close out that chapter with Jaime adding a bit more history to his page in the White Book. Just not what we may expect. Everything he writes in there is essentially his failures over the last year or two. And so, yes,
but there's
keeps
still
it truthful.
Plenty of page left to fill, and he can fill it with whatever he chooses, which is the big hanger-on of, like, he can choose to be a good fucking guy from here on out. Fucking good guy, you know what? I'm fucking good guy and stuff, so.
But we're not reading Jaime this chapter.
Fuck Jaime.
We're reading Jonathan.
Nope. Nope. Aegon Targaryen.
Yes.
Jon Snow.
Jon
10. This is not Jon's final chapter. Jon actually has the most left remaining to us, but
is it 1 or 2 chapters
he's got like 3, I think, between him and Sam.
Yeah, we have like 8
him and
chapters
Sam
total.
Are gonna flip-flop.
Left of Storm of Swords. 8.
That
includes the epilogue.
Johnny Boy. The wall is besieged by the free folk who won't in. We won't in, motherfuckers. First, it was the Magnar of Thenns attacking from the south with Ygritte. During that battle, they collapsed the stairs, and Ygritte took an arrow, and Jon thankfully doesn't know whose arrow it was, so he doesn't really have anyone to blame other than himself, but that's Jon Snow's way of life. And in doing so, Jon is dealing with his injured leg from Ygritte's arrow. Then they had to defend the wall itself as the wildlings began poking and prodding their defenses there, sending giants, mammoths, turtles, mantelets, all sorts of shit at the wall. Jon, using some cunning tactics and what he can, because the Watch doesn't have much left, sending down frozen barrels of salt and sand and whatever else they could, has so far managed to repel any attempts to gain entry to the
damn wall.
But they're waning. They don't have much, and so Jon is also, he's playing injured. His leg is killing him, but he has been a commander true in something which most everyone on the wall is recognizing for him.
Unfortunately, with all that success, there is some that do not follow and agree with him. Janos, Slynt, and Alliser Thorne have arrived and are here to stir up some fucking drama.
Yeah, they returned.
And so they basically have Jon arrested for being a traitor. He's placed in the cells. Aemon had his back the whole time, was like, you guys are wrong, and you're not gonna be happy once Jon Snow comes back from the dead and kills you all.
We left with Jon about to chokeslam Sir Alliser Thorne's ass through the announcer's table, but it was interrupted. The match ended via disqualification, and that was where we had left her.
Yeah,
and so Jon 10.
This one opens with Jon riding a cage down the wall. Zach and I had a little bit of confusion. Hold on, before you go into this, don't even fucking say it. Let me finish first. We both thought there was a cage on the other side of the wall.
There is.
After reading closer, it says he reaches the bottom and looks left to see the gate that was blocked and goes through that gate out to where the turtle was. He did not ride a cage on the inside.
He doesn't.
I marked the page right here to make sure. When the cage jerked to a halt, Jon swung down onto the ground and rattled Longclaw's hilt to loosen the bastard blade in its scabbard. The gate was a few yards to his left, still blocked by the splintered turtle.
On the north. The turtle didn't make it through.
Right, but it's still blocking the other side. I'm completely disagreeing with you.
You are 1,000%
and you're wrong.
No,
you're
wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You are
wrong. He went through the gate.
How would he be looking at the wildlings camp?
Because he goes through the gate. Right then it says he goes through.
He's looking at it on his descent.
Not on the descent. It's 2 pages after he's landed.
The wind is blowing, the cage is rocking, and he looks across the killing ground and sees 1,000 campfires burning.
He still is stepping through the gate over here.
He is north on the wall.
Right in. Let us know what you guys think.
He is on the north side of the wall.
And anyway, he is lowering down the gate and arrives at the bottom. And on the way down, he starts thinking about the days that he was spending in that cell that he was placed in by Thorne.
He's thinking that the descent is kind of... It almost looks bottomless when he looks down, and that death itself is some sort of bottomless pit. He's despairing hard. Things are not good
that
for Jon.
Specifically, it seems very analogous to his death, him dying and potentially coming back in the future. Just that whole quote of the bottomless pit, and then you come back, and then you're done, and what are you fighting for? And
yeah, he thinks it's a grim day, and he's almost too broody until we learn that this is, in fact, a suicide mission. It's not intended for him to return, and whether or not he's successful or not, he will be dying. And so I am going to bring it back because I'm very curious about the fact that there is a cage on the north side of the wall. I know in Tyrion's chapter, he talks about when he rides it on the south side up to the wall, he does have to pull the winch cage in to be brought to the wall proper. And so maybe there's a pivot arm that can pivot the cage over either side, or they just set this cage up because the gate can't be breached because they filled it with stone and ice and all that stuff.
Right.
And so maybe they just set up a small little cage for Jon to ride down and lowered his ass.
He's in a
and
little
we're
like milk crate just riding down.
Because Janos doesn't want to fucking deal with, I mean, as much as he wants to both, like, Mance doesn't want to come to us because we're treacherous little cunts who won't offer peaceable terms or safety for a
funny enough,
treat.
we know Janos Slynt is that person, the piece of shit who would just
1,000%.
murder him. I mean, look, he's sending a spy in under truce.
I was looking this up in the time that I was doing my notes, and there does seem to be some general confusion on the interwebs about this passage, about there being a cage on the north, that just it's never mentioned before or again, and so we're unsure whether or not Martin, intended to bring it up or mention that as a feature of the wall, that the winch cage can pivot to either side, or what the deal is here. But it blew my mind for a good 5 to 10 minutes while reading that there's this weird north side cage that lowers up and down. I do understand it. It seems useful. Clearly, it gets Jon down. But so he's thinking that it's a grim day, and it almost seems like Jon is being overly broody and mopey. And then we finally do learn that, he spent, 4 days?
4 days in the cells before he was just pulled. Now, we know the cells are fucking cold.
5 by 5 by 5.
And he stayed, I believe, in one back when he was in trouble for trying to stab Alliser Thorne with a fork or whatever it was. But he had Ghost with him, keeping him warm then. In this one, he gets yanked awake and pulled before Janos Slynt and Alliser Thorne after 4 days, where Slynt is like, I'm going to hang you, but I was told that I can't because it would be unjust and that you're not a traitor. And the only reason I'm following through with this is because Meister Aemon had already sent a letter to Cotter Pike and told him of your innocence. And so nobody's going to say that Janos Slynt is an unjust man. So we're going to go and send you to get blown up. Here's your bomb vest. You push this button, you explode if you're near Mance. If you don't and you come within 100 feet of us again, it'll explode.
Everyone's already saying you're a piece of shit, Janos. So, but I like it because he says that Aemon even showed him the letter. So, like, Aemon wrote the letter and then went to Janos and was like, hey, you little bitch, I'm sending this. I'm going to send this letter to the boss. So, like, just so you fucking know. And so Aemon ain't taking no one's shit. Like,
love it.
And yeah, Alliser and Janos throw some shade to Aemon because Janos is like, who does he think he is? And Jon thinks
Aemon Targaryen, you stupid fuck.
A king's son, a king's brother, a king who might have been like literally way better than you could ever hope to be, you little piece of shit.
A learned Meister of the Black Night's Watch for the last 400 years or however old he
Mance
is.
wants to parlay but refuses to come to them, and Janos then boasts. He's like, and he's right to, because I would hang him from the wall by his feet with a 200-foot rope. So he's, I would throw him off the wall.
Right, you would hire Walder Frey
and
to
it's
murder
that,
people
right.
during guest right.
When you have parlay, you're supposed to have a sense of security. You're not going to harm the person that's coming to. That's the way it's done.
That's what's so fun about this chapter as a whole is we know Janos Slynt would break every right and war and crime.
Mance doesn't.
Mance invites him into his
Even though
tent
he
with
hates
his
Jon.
pregnant.
Even though he wants to
despises
throw
him,
punch
hates him for what he did.
Yeah.
But invites him into his tent by himself, armed with his wife and
With
her
his pregnant
best friend.
wife, yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with these Southerners?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Game of Thrones. Janos is still trying to vie for power of, like, what power is there to be grabbed here? This is a dying guild. Quite literally, you are on your death rattle at this point. Mance pretty much is going to decide if you live or die, barring Stannis, if we take Stannis out of the equation.
Right, because they don't know about
Stannis,
right.
Janos Slynt, you are trying to become, top dog of an organization that is very much so about to die.
And this organization, of all the organizations in the entire realm, is the one that, whether it's on its deathbed or not, is very, the higher-ups typically have always been, we're an honor-driven order who focuses on the protection of the realm unbiasedly. Yes, there have been kings that have tried to name themselves that and then come south for attacks, but they've always been shut the fuck down by the Starks. And so, even if he gains control of this, obviously the Starks won't prevent it in the future. You're taking an order where, like, it's everything the Knights, the Kingsguard wants to be, where everything is based on upholding the honor and virtues of the order. True Night's Watchmen are up there fighting the Grumpkins and the Giants, and they kill wildlings, but that's not their main focus and threat. Janos is like, well, I need to be at the top of I need to be the president.
He's still treating it as if it's King's Landing.
He doesn't understand that this doesn't grant, even among King's Landing, the Lord Commander has no fucking sway down there, so you're just coming up here to get the only iota of power you think you could potentially ever get again because you were sent here. And God damn it if he's not a weaselly piece of shit about it all, and I hate him.
I mean, he always has been, so it's...
Right, which is why Tyrion sent him away.
Yeah. And so, real quick to jump back to the cage and Jon brooding, I do like, he thinks that he had at one point hoped to show the world that bastards weren't monsters who were, born of terrible, depraved wants and needs. But now, if he's remembered at all, it'll be as a turncloak, an oathbreaker, and a murderer. And that's based on him being sent to kill Mance, and then what happened with Clore and Halfhand. And he wishes he never left the cave with Ygritte, and he hopes that if there is an afterlife, he gets the chance to tell her that. And I'm just very curious when Winds does drop and we get dead Jon, resurrecting Jon, all that stuff.
You wonder if he'll run into her or something?
Not run into, but if there might not be a vision of Ygritte and him getting the chance to say, I wish we never left that cave. And so that's just
definitely feel like between the green site of the Starks and the Warging that there may be a Ghost has a dream or something of the cave, and Ygritte's in there talking, similar to Dany with Khal Drogo.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell it's not real for anybody except him.
But is it, and maybe it even is real to some extent.
And that,
if it's Jon actually dying and kind of lingering on the afterlife threshold, who's to say it's not real? It's the same thing kind of for Dany. There was a point where in the House of the Undying, it almost looked like Rhaegar looked to her and was like, there must be one more.
And that he may have looked behind him. It's very much that Bran in the show where he's hearing these words that weren't spoken to him, but he's
hearing them on the wind.
In that way.
The wind.
Yeah, so back in the meeting with Janos and Alliser, Jon tells him that I'll do this.
Well, yeah, they're
he
like,
argues,
we're
but,
sending you because you rode
Right.
with them, so Mance is more inclined to trust you.
and Jon's like, that's the opposite.
You have it so
I
wrong.
lied to his face and pretended to be someone I wasn't for months. I'm going to be the last person he wants to speak with. And they're like, well, you're going to do it anyway.
You got no choice.
So...
You'll do it, or you'll go back to your ice cell without your furs this time,
and
Janos
Thorne
thinks.
knows this and tells Slynt, like, stop. You don't need to keep, like, threatening him. He's going to do it.
He's gonna go.
Look at him. He's going to do it.
He wants to redeem himself, and that's when Jon's like, all right, Alliser is the smarter, cleverer of the two, because Alliser knows how things are done here at the Wall.
Right.
And so he's not openly vying for power like this idiot is. Janos, his actions are going to get him at the end of a noose based on all the laws of the Night's Watch.
He's getting Janos as far as he can while distancing him himself
exactly.
enough. And because he knows those inner workings, he can give him all this relevant information that's going to propel Janos up as high as he's able to.
Alliser
until
hates
it's not
Jon,
allowed.
wants Jon dead. So
Right.
instead of him doing it and getting his hands dirty and then possibly, being able to be threatened with, oh, you were threatening a brother, now it's on Janos Slynt's hands instead of his own. And Jon is able to see that almost immediately.
Right, and then he plays that hound card. Well, the king told me. It was a prince's order. It was my lord. He was my superior. Janos Slynt told me, and so I had to follow
And
orders.
I love this because this is where Jon starts getting sassy because Janos tells him, you will address us as my lord. I will not sit here and listen to you talk to someone like Sir Alliser without giving him his proper time. And Jon's like, okay, my lord. Well, you're sending the wrong man, my lord. My lord would have a much better chance treating and bringing terms to Mance than I would. And that's when they're like,
lord.
Bringing terms? Oh, no.
You're not bringing terms.
We're not.
What do you think? We're going to treat with those savages?
You think we're actually offering those fucking people anything? No, you're there to kill him.
You're just going to kill him.
You're going to murder.
He is absolutely, this is fully reminiscent of the Red Wedding, of sneaking and doing something deplorable. You could even
of Ned Stark
put it up with Renly getting killed.
Yeah.
With this, they're sending in this shadowy, against the norm, fucking weaselly way. Again, Janos Slynt, here's my theory. He's going to be the new fucking Rat King. Janos Slynt is going to be killed and then haunt one of these castles as the future Rat King.
His
He's a
spirit's
nasty
not
piece
strong
of
enough.
shit.
He's gonna go burn in all the seven hells because he's a piece of shit. He's not cool enough. Like the Rat King at least was like a bad bitch who was like, oh, you
Right, he cooked the sons.
You killed my son, so like I'm a fucking fuck your shit up. But like Janos Slynt's just a pussy. He's just
a fucking asshole.
It's LOL. It's never mind. That's too topically political. It's a certain president that maybe we found out is just the fucking yes man for some gross pedophiles, but he doesn't have a backbone. That's why Alliser Thorne is like, yeah. Tell him. We're sending Jon Snow.
Say this.
Yeah.
Say this. So Jon comes back to the present after his thoughts as he's making his way across the
It's also
field.
because Jon thinks, I couldn't kill a kitten right now. Like, you want me to go and fight Mance Rayder? Like, I was just in a fucking ice cell for 4 days where I couldn't lay down right.
With a jacked leg, as it were, before you went and cramped me.
So you're starving me, giving me no sleep.
Freezing him.
After he's just been fighting to defend the Wall and was already fucking exhausted from that. And now
feverish from his leg.
And now you want him to go and fucking kill Mance Rayder. And they don't. They want him to die, is mainly. They don't.
Right, if he can succeed, awesome.
Sure.
But if he doesn't, great. They're rid of him.
And so, yeah, Jon knows that succeed or fail, even if he succeeds, the free folk will kill him. And that won't be pleasant at all either.
Yeah, I believe he does have that thought of, like, he won't be allowed to join them again. Like, that would be the only option for survival, would be rejoining the wildlings, but Mance isn't going to have that anymore.
Right.
You already fucking betrayed them
Desertion
once.
isn't an option anymore.
Not going to happen.
And so, yeah, as the cage settles, he loosens Longclaw in his scabbard, and to his left is the destruction of the gate. He sees the abandoned turtle that was crushed with the mammoth underneath it that's rotting, and he sees a giant whose skull has been crushed by a rock. And so there's a bird, there's a raven, pulling out the bits of the brain of the giant, which is just a fun image until it sees him and squawks, snow, and then flies away. So
this isn't a white raven.
No,
right? This
no,
isn't
this is
isn't
just a
Mormont's
raven.
raven is white,
Is he white?
wasn't it? Am I completely making that up? I thought he had like a white raven. Way back
I'm
in the
not.
day,
I don't
Mormont's.
think Mormont's is white, but I could be mistaken.
Even if not, the chances of Mormont's
Is this blood
raven, like it has to be a different raven of some kind than Mormont's. That there's just this random raven. Not
Right,
all of them
right.
speak. Like we know that ravens can be taught a single word or two, but it's rare. So for him to encounter this random one that just happens to be here as he's crossing that also can speak,
Yeah.
it has to be
It
blood
has to be a
raven.
blood raven.
It has to be a blood.
Yeah,
raven.
no. Mormont's isn't.
It's
isn't
black,
white.
too?
It's a black one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it is possible that this is that one, and it's recognizing him. But again, I also have this feeling that Mormont's was never a smart one that was repeating
No.
words,
Yeah.
and it always
That was Blood Raven just being
Snow,
like, oh, hey, what's
snow,
going on the
troll,
wall? Yeah.
troll.
Yeah. So this very much so feels like Blood Raven taking a little peeksy in at things, and I had the specific thought of like, oh, is it based on zombie rules? Like, is it trying to like clear out the brain so that the giant can't reanimated
Blood
type
Raven
of thing?
sent the ravens out on their mission of
Right, yeah,
get rid of the brain stems,
like
clear
clear
'em
that
out.
brain out so that way this thing can't be taken by the Night King or the others, because there is no
I
Night King in
also really enjoy how it's 8 chapters before we start A Feast for Crows.
Yeah,
We're seeing a crow here starting the meal that we're going to be getting all of next book.
Then we get this gunslinger imagery as Jon begins his trek across this no man's land.
I was going to whistle the old Wild West, but my whistler's not working right now.
My
'cause I'm
whistler.
thirsty.
A lone rider rides forth to meet him, and this is Tormund. And Tormund is surprised, though pleased, to see Jon.
This is what, because when Jon was traveling with the wildlings in Tormund, they had some fun back and forths, but they didn't seem like they had established that friendship.
No, the show played it up a lot.
We see it shine through right here, though,
Yeah.
where it's that familiarity and the respect that, like, he sees Jon, and he kind of makes a joke of, like, yeah, I did not expect it to be you, though.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, but I'm who they sent.
And you're in a black cloak, which is
right.
like, ooh, that's not so good, but, it is what it is.
And Jon's like, well, they want, Mance said he wanted to talk, and he's like, yeah, but he didn't want to talk to you, dude. Like, not good. But
yeah. So Tormund then admits, you fought us hard here, you and your brothers. There's 200 of us dead and a dozen giants, and Mag the Mighty himself went into that gate and didn't come out. And Jon's like, yeah, so did our blacksmith, Donald Noy. He went into that gate. And Tormund's like, a one-armed blacksmith killed Mag the Mighty? Like, no shit.
I like that at first it was kind of this, he took down our guy Donald Noy, and he's like, yeah, he must have been one hell of a warrior, and he's like, yeah, he was a one-armed blacksmith, and he's
some
like,
great lord, yeah.
oh, fuck yeah, like, some badass is doing some business.
That must have been a fight to see. He says Mance will make a song of it, see that he don't, and then they drink.
They share a drink.
To Donald Noy and Mag the Mighty.
That right there again shows that Tormund is the Alliser Thorne to Mance's Janos Slynt.
Yeah.
But it's this, the man slayed Mag the Mighty. Mm-hmm. That's a feat. That's something that a song should be written about. And he's not just drinking to Mag the Mighty. He's also drinking to the honor of this warrior, Donald Noy.
Yeah, and he hands it down to Jon so Jon can do the same, but it's a potent drink.
It just kind of clicked with me that it's also fun that throughout this whole book we are almost seeing a representation of each of the 7 facets of the gods dying, with the father Tywin and Joffrey being, one of those. I don't know which one you want. The cunt, I don't know. Is that one of the faces? The smith, and so it's just neat seeing.
The maiden, because he's a virgin. He's a little virgin.
Sure, he's a fucking psycho. So I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. Anyway.
So much for that theory.
Yeah,
you jumped off that ship quick. Tormund then reminisces on how the Magnar then swore that he'd have the gate open, and said that he was going to bring down the whole wall, and Jon jokes, like, yeah, he brought it down on his head, like, and Tormund's like, well, shit, I never really liked them anyway, and then asks what's going on with Jon's leg, why he's limping, and Jon says this is one of Ygritte's arrows.
It's the last thing to remember her by.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, one day a woman's kissing you, and the next she's filling you full of arrows, and then Jon's like, yeah, she's dead. And Tormund's like, oh, was that your doing? And Jon's like, no, one of my brothers, but I don't know who.
Fucking crows.
And so they drank 2 egret, kissed by fire, and they drink again. Which,
we get a little history of some of Tormund's family and his kids, his daughter
Munda
going out and handling her husband, making sure that he knew that she wears the pants in that relationship.
Yeah. Long Spear stole his daughter, his little autumn apple, he calls her. Yeah. And then
find out that Long Spear is not Mr. Long Spear because he has a weapon that is quite long. He has a Jamie-sized sword down in them pants.
Yeah, she likes him well enough, though. He doesn't fight with no spear, so, why do they call him Long Spear, you think? She's getting hers, and so good for her. And so Jon has a good laugh at that and thinks that Ygritte had been fond of Long Spear Rick, and so he's hoping that Tormund's Munda finds joy with her, because there needs to be some joy in this fucking world at this moment.
Can I also point out that there's a small comment that's pretty much a throwaway from Tormund, but once again shows the difference between the honor of a wildling versus 90% of the men in the South. I would have gone after Ygritte if I was 10 years younger. So he realizes she's too young for me.
Right.
And so even though she is an adult now, I think, it's never technically determined. I guess probably not. She's probably 16, 17.
Right,
Jon's
age,
17, 18, something like that. But he's like, nope, she's too young for me. I'm not a fucking freak.
Yeah.
So, whereas half of the fucking lords in King's Landing are like, hey, can you get some of them boys from Bravos? No, the under-10s. The under-10s. Gross. But again, the wildlings have standards.
Yeah. So he's reminiscing, on Ygritte's nothing, and he's thinking he has this whole little dialogue with himself and her about, I know I'm going to die, and she's like, dying's easy. Everyone dies, even men and women and birds and the bees, and Jon's like, right, but it's the how you die that's the what of it, and you had it easy. You died in battle, in a great
the
heroic,
one way you want to die if you
I'm
have
gonna
to
die as a fucking murderer, probably fleeing for my life from the wildling mob that's gonna hunt me down and rip me apart. And...
I mean, once again, I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but he's basically comparing himself to Walder Frey at this point, where that's what I'm gonna be remembered as, is this gross murderer in the shadows.
He thinks the only chance he has at a quick death is if he fails, and it comes at the end of Mance's sword quickly. And who even knows if Mance would grant him that at this point, because he is such a little turncloak to Mance at this point. But now they're among the trees. They're among the camp of the wildlings.
He's getting some glares, but nobody's openly doing anything to him.
Right, because he's here to parlay, and that's the rules of parlay.
Even the common folk who are fighting for, because all wildlings fight, even if they are common folk, even they have the semblance of mind to be like, oh, I hate that sumbitch, but he's going to talk to Mance. Go talk to Mance.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
it's wild.
The king beyond the wall is waiting outside his Whiteford tent, and he's waiting with Harma Dog's Head and Varamir Sixskins, attended by his shadow cat and his 2 lean wolves. And Harma is immediately not pleased. Varamir's wolves start growling at Jon too, and Mance just says, "You're either very brave or very stupid to come back, Jon Snow."
I adore this scene. I think this is one of the funnest scenes. Harma is she's bad. She's so cool. She's just...
I hate Harma.
Fuck you.
I'm glad Harma dies this chapter.
Right. And so for her, when I'll kill him. And then to go straight into the Varamir's aggression is way better, I think. Just the dog snarling and growling and just the atmosphere as he walks up. And then just cool as a cucumber, man. You're really stupid or really brave.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's got the angel and the devil almost on his shoulder, with Tormund is more the angel here.
Yeah.
But between Varamir and Harma, we get the two sides where Harma is openly, because Jon says to Mance, saying you're either very brave or very stupid, to come back here wearing a black cloak. He says, what else would a brother of the Night's Watch be wearing? And that's when Harma's like, kill him, send his body back up in that cage of theirs, tell him to send someone else.
This is also, in my opinion, what cements the respect from Mance to Jon, in that, cool, so you're openly acknowledging...
You always were.
Like, you were playing your role,
yes.
and you did it fucking well. Yeah, I bought into
Jon
it as much as I did.
Jon's over the charade at this point. Jon is openly admitting.
It's that I'm not trying to I'm not, now that I don't have to lie because I'm here on a parlay, you're going to kill me or you're not.
Right.
So what I say doesn't matter.
But yeah, as you said, Varamir is much like calmer. He says, I warned you he was false. I never did like the smell of him. But Tormund is the one who says, pull in your claws, beastling. The lad's here to hear. You lay a paw on him, might be I'll take me that shadow skin cloak I've been wanting. And so, again, Tormund is backing the honor of parlay, where it's that he's not to be harmed. He's here to treat. We requested it. The Night's Watch is honoring it. And Jon Snow is the one they sent. And so, yes, he fucking got us. He got us all real good. But Tormund also just learned that Ygritte got him back for it. She got him in the leg, and he's still visibly limping because of it. Like, Jon is wearing his shame of that pretty openly. He's not proud of it.
From it,
he didn't turn to Tormund and smile and be like, yeah, I fucking got you all good.
I was fucking Ygritte in a cave, and I didn't even care.
He's sad that Ygritte died. Like, he's wearing that openly.
The remorse is clear.
And so it's clear that, like, while, yes, he was a brother of the Night's Watch while he was among us, he did become one of us. He is got a foot in both camps at this point, and Tormund recognizes that, and that's like, I really came to love Tormund in this chapter a lot.
Yeah. So Mance informs Jon through Varamir that, listen, I know that it's kind of new to you, but our warg here, we know that you guys have 44 men. You've got 22 coming down from Eastwatch. You've got 7 posted here. The shadows go over your fucking house at this time of night, and that's when you light your lanterns.
Varamir does the whole little bit about once a man is broken, or once a horse is broken to the saddle, any man can mount him. So we get some warging lore here. Basically, once an animal's been warged, it's easier for someone to warg it, which I do think will become prevalent. And then he mentions Orell. He's got Orell's eagle, and he can feel Orell inside the eagle, and Orell is now inside him, whispering how much he fucking hates Jon Snow.
Right.
And, like, that's some sort of cosmic horror shit of, like, Orell's hatred.
It's conscious hatred.
Yeah, lives on in him.
And passing down, like, it's got to be similar to when Beric Dondarrion rises again. Less and less of Orell is in there. The more he went from Orell to the bird,
I'm glad you
from
went
the
there.
bird to Varamir.
How much of Beric is in Stoneheart?
Right,
Does
exactly
she hear
that kind of
him
thing.
Whispering?
Yes, so that's
Like,
right. If Varamir dies and then Jon takes over his pack, is
one eye.
he
If
going
he
to have
takes
this
one eye,
self-hatred from Orell that's gone through and just bleeds into this almost like a Horcrux?
Yes. And then same thing, I think, for like Bran and Hodor and all this other stuff.
So on that note, I was wondering if is anything here, do you think like Bloodraven, the one that we just saw, that Raven before, was that one that maybe Bran had been going through, or another warg
or
that
will
made
go
it
through?
And almost like this, the closer you are to the animal, the easier it is to warg into it. But if somebody else is warged into it, it kind of opens this fast travel beacon then Bloodraven can jump into there without having to have a nearby werewood.
Right.
Or Varamir is like, bing, oh, there's another warg here. Like, is that something that they can feel when that animal's proximity is around?
I don't know if they can feel. I think it's more just the, like, if you happen to try, like, if I
then that one you just slip right in like a glove.
Exactly, yes. Like,
instead of trying to fight the consciousness for it.
As we know that, because we see that in Dance's opening with when Varamir tries to do it to Thistle. And Thistle, he fights with her to get control of that body. But if Thistle had already been skin changed, it would have been super easy. It just occurred
to me that this is Martin's very subtle context clue that Hodor was slipped because of how easy it was in the tower on the lake for
it wasn't
Bran to
super.
slip in.
It wasn't the easiest,
But it was still Hodor had already been broken
he was
by
pretty
Bran
easy
so
to
long
cow,
ago, and
yes.
so it almost might have been not only was it not his first time, it's the same person that broke him originally.
Yeah.
And the slip is now, and so that's neat. I never thought about that.
It's gross. And so, then Mance uses it as a total power move, and he's like, so we know how fucked you are, so don't try to bullshit me during this meeting. And then he says, all of you wait out here, me and Jon are going inside.
Even me,
and
Tormund.
Right,
it's like, wait, well,
particularly you, Tormund. And so they go inside, and it's warm in here, and I really like the contrast of Jon just came from his home, the Night's Watch,
up on the wall,
in the cells,
in the
cell,
right, yeah,
the literal epitome of cold,
right? And then goes into
and
this
goes
warm
into
den
the
of
warm
this
den
comfort.
where a baby's about to be born.
Right,
It
life.
is life, love, happiness, family, fucking everything that Jon has ever wanted is here in this tent.
And again, coupled with the trust of guest right.
Right. Well, that's what
between both of them.
And he was becoming a part of this family. He went back when he was with Ygritte. It was absolutely, and I love Val. Val and Dalla are just two of the coolest fucking characters.
So cool.
But it's almost Dalla's time, so Val is here, and Jon remembers that Val's husband is dead, Jarl, and he was with him when he saw him fall, and Val says he always climbed too fast, which I think is a very fun flip on what's occurring with Jon right now of
the climbing, the ascension.
I mean, Janos, Slynt even, it's that you're doing too much too soon.
That's
and,
good.
And it's gonna fucking kill you. When you grasp too high too quick, it always kills you. And we've seen that. We saw it with Joffrey. We saw it with Oberyn.
You know what's funny?
There are too many people this book trying to take.
We're seeing the reverse right now with Dany. As much as we talked a lot of shit, she's taking that pause.
She's taking her time.
I need to. She ascended
immediately.
Yeah.
No, but yes,
she's like, I need to understand.
That's
how
what
to
she's.
rule.
That's her whole point of her is. I've been going too quick, and I need to step the fuck back, reevaluate, and rule for a minute and learn what that is. And so, it absolutely is like a thesis statement of this book of he always climbed too fast. Yeah. That could be said for Oberyn, that could be said for fucking Joffrey,
Tyrion, with his as the hand. Yes. So
Tywin.
At this point, that I would argue against Tywin because I feel like Tywin's kind of been
at
peak
100%,
since forever.
Yes,
Jon sees the Horn of Winter, and he's like, "Holy shit, you have it!" And Mance is like, "Listen, not just crows lie."
Yeah, I do. This whole sequence is phenomenal because when Mance says Dalla's time is near, so she and Val will be staying for this meeting. Anything I have to say, they can hear. Anything you have to say, they can hear.
Not once from any other character, the closest being Catelyn and Ned. Yeah. But even
then,
because of Snow's heritage. Has there ever been the trust between a man and wife, king and queen, is more what I'm thinking.
Jaehaerys and Alicent, maybe way back when, but
the good queen,
Alicent,
that's it. He trusts her with every iota of how he's ruling,
and that immediately hits Jon like a thing of ice, because now he's got to kill him in his tent in front of his wife, his pregnant wife,
who's about to
deliver is about to deliver his child. And so this is where he starts taking in the tent. He notices Mance has his blade on his hip, and he sees all the other weapons in the tent, and holy shit, that's a horn right there. And Mance notices him noticing the horn, and he's like, "That's right, bitch, the Horn of Winter. We fucking got it." And Jon's like, "You said you never found it." And he's like, "Why would I tell someone I didn't trust?"
Right. Clearly, it was a good thing that I didn't.
Right. You literally just told Janos that Mance never trusted me from the get. So clearly he didn't, and he kept his secrets as he should.
I absolutely love that Jon recognized before this meeting that he wasn't, as much as he lied and did what he could to ingratiate himself with them, he was never fully trusted, as it's going to take a lot longer than the 1 year maybe max that you spent with them. I don't know what the actual
Jon says
duration is.
Ygritte said you never found the horn. So did Ygritte not know? Or do you think Ygritte knew? I don't
one's
think
tough.
Mance told it great.
I don't think so either, which it very much to me seems like Tormund is his hand.
Yeah.
Tormund knows. We also know that Tormund knows because he's going to be the one to blow it.
Right.
Vala,
Dal knew.
I think it's those four.
Yeah.
Vala, maybe Vala's Dal's husband. Vala's husband? Jarl. But I think that's about it. And I guess Varamir, but I honestly feel more like Varamir aided in finding it just because of the pack.
His abilities, yes. I think that one, because I don't think Harma knows.
I don't either.
I don't think Harma could be trusted.
Ygritte
I don't think Harma's in the inner circle.
And I think Ygritte was so young that, like, yes, they respected her fighting prowess.
I think Mance is just too smart of a king
to be telling everybody.
You don't put that many eggs spread out.
The minimum.
Yeah.
And
for this reasoning, because Jon's like, if you have the Horn of Winter, why the fuck haven't you blown it yet? And, it's Dala who answers.
So good.
And she's like, because we want to use the wall to hide behind. Like, the fuck? And
this is... because she does make this the cool line, but I want to add on to it. She says, sorcery is a sword with no hilt. There is no safe way to wield it.
Ow!
And it's at this point that Mance explains many, many times there have been kings beyond the wall, people who have named themselves the leader of the wildlings.
Yep.
All of them have come south to conquer. I'm the only one who doesn't want to do that. I'm running.
Right.
Like, call me a bitch, but you've seen what I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking deal with that. My family, the ones in this tent, forget the rest, sure. But the ones in this room, I need to save them. In order to do that, I had to rally all those motherfuckers out there.
Get everyone to agree.
And I don't want to destroy your wall. I don't want to kill all you crows. I don't want to take King's Landing. I just want to hide from the scary zombies. That's all. Can I do that?
Yeah, I'm going to actually read Dala's whole little thing here. We free folk know things you kneelers have forgotten. So, the North remembers.
Right.
It's not Winterfell and Wintertown.
It's the North.
It's the North remembers, because we are currently running from the White Walkers. Sometimes the short road is not the safest, Jon Snow. The Horned Lord once said that sorcery is a sword without a hilt. There is no safe way to grasp it. And so... Dala spitting straight facts, and it's fucking awesome. And then, Mance follows that up by saying, no man goes hunting with only one arrow in his quiver. He had been hoping that Styr and Jarl would take everything unawares, just open the gate, it would be easy peasy. He had been drawing the garrison away with feints and raids and secondary attacks, but... his cripples and elderly and orphans proved to be more stubborn than anticipated, but they haven't stopped them. And they're too few, and the wildlings are too many. He could send 10,000 men to cross the Bay of Seals, take East Watch from the rear. He could storm the Shadow Tower. He knows these approaches, but when Jon asks, why don't you? He says, blood. Like, yes, I would win in the end. My people have blood enough. I don't want to lose more people. I don't want more people to have to die.
If I can get you to let me in, then everybody lives.
And Jon says, your losses haven't been that heavy. And Mance says, not at your hands. You saw what happened at the Fist of the First Men. You know what we're facing. And that's when Jon is finally like, the others? And you're right. They grow stronger as the days go shorter. First they kill you, then they send your dead against you. The Giants haven't been able to stand against them, nor the Thens, the Ice River clans, the Hornfoot. And so, that's when he does the whole, other kings have named themselves kings and tried to rule, but that's when Dala also is like, once the wall is fallen, what stops the others? Right. And I think we have to worry about that in a couple books. We're not quite there yet, but that's, Mance smiles at her and says, it's a wise woman I found, a true queen. Which Dala is a true queen, absolutely. And so he says, Jon, go back, tell them to open their gate and let us pass. If they do, I'll give them the horn and the wall will stand until the end of days. And Jon's like, there's no chance they're going to open the gate to you.
And that it's purely, there's no way that Janos and Alliser
I can convince them to, right? They
'Cause
haven't seen what I've seen.
And he does say, if Mormont was still there, there would at least be a conversation had. with him and Aemon and Mormont. But because of those two, if I come back alive, they're killing me. That's almost how it goes at this point.
And so I love it. We know Stannis is bearing down on us as we fucking speak. Jon asks him, "Are you a true king?" And he asks it quite suddenly. And Mance says, "I've never had a crown on my head nor sat my ass on a throne. My birth is as low as you can get. Never had my head smeared with oils by a septon. Don't own any castles. My queen wears furs and amber. You don't become the king beyond the wall because of who your father was. The free folk don't follow a name. They follow fighters." And so
what this means is Jon is going to become king beyond the wall one day.
What?
Because your father doesn't matter. Whether it's Ned Stark, whether it's Rhaegar Targaryen, irrelevant. That's my prediction.
They don't follow a name, although I gotta say, Ygritte telling Jon Snow that Snow is a pretty strong name. I think they might follow the name Snow.
Especially here in the north.
For that exact reason.
Yeah, so Jon starts kind of thinking about what it would be like to have wildlings and giants south of the wall, storming abandoned castles, crawling all over Winterfell. And he asks Mance, "If we let you south, are your men going to keep the king's law?"
Yeah, because Jon says, "You can kill your enemies, but can you rule your friends? Are you strong enough to make them keep the king's peace and obey laws?" And Mance is like, whose fucking laws are we supposed to be obeying? Like, you're Winterfell, King's Landing, there's too many laws. It's a Jaime speech. So many laws and laws, they make you swear that when you're following one, you're breaking another. And so you can keep your king's justice, your king's taxes. I'm offering you the horn, not our fucking freedoms.
Right. He says, they won't, I won't. We will not bend the knee to anybody. And here's how it's going to go, because Jon tells them that they're not going to listen. Nope. He says, great. If you don't let us pass within 3 days, Giant's Bane out there, he's blowing this horn and your fucking walls coming down.
This part made me sad because when...
Tormund's dead.
Right.
Tormund's gonna
if
die
he
from
blow...
that.
Well, we know from
Feast,
when at the King's Moot...
Guys cooked.
When Euron has the guy blow the dragon binder horn, it fucking burns him alive. And so, like, what would happen here?
Do you think it's going to be reversed, like a freezing?
Does he become an other?
So I also was thinking, maybe it's been mentioned a million times before, but Jon coming back to life once he's killed, will that represent a dragon being born from the wall? He is the dragon that's in the ice of the wall because he's Aegon Targaryen. He's going to be reborn there. Again, assuming he's at the wall. Are
you like born amidst salt and smoke? Is that where you're like?
No, more like because a lot of people think that there's a dragon trapped inside the wall or some shit, and if it falls, then the dragon.
Oh, the dragon's free.
And so maybe that it's never been that Jon is the dragon that's going to be born at the wall because he's being reborn from the fire. Maybe that also has to do with the salt and smoke, but I don't think that those items that I brought up.
I mean, I think it's just going to be Jon is reborn a little more feral with Ghost kind of in his personality now because they're merged together,
Jon
similar
Snow,
to
beast mode.
Orell and Varamir here. And I absolutely am a believer that Jon Snow's hair will go white from his death.
Like
and
a streak? Like a single
streak?
No. Pure all white?
He's going
like
Targaryen white, Ghost
white.
He's going to look like a werewood. Like, he's going to probably have some reddish eyes.
Do we see any kind of whitening of the hair of Stoneheart? Does she get...
I think it's
very
gray. White and brittle.
So. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so, if you refuse, it'll be Tormund in 3 days hence at dawn. And so, dawn is in the the Night's Watch vows specifically. And it's just, not Tormund.
Yeah.
Not Tormund.
And so Jon then considers, instead of slashing Mance's throat, what if I break the horn and then a horn starts blaring?
Yeah. That's a fun one. Like, I can break this horn. Right. And then one sounds. And so Mance hears it too and frowns, and they go to the door, and it's getting louder, and there starts to become some chaos as the wildlings begin to run. Then Tormund comes up and says it's an outrider's horn, and Varamir, sitting cross-legged, says something is coming as his wolves circle around him. A shadow sweeps over him, and they see the eagle up above. And Varamir reports they're coming from the east, and Jon thinks when the dead walk, walls and stakes and swords mean nothing. You cannot fight the dead. No one knows that half so well as me, he remembers. And then Harma is like, oh, the whites should be behind us. And that's when Varamir's like, it's something else coming, not others.
Right. Mance immediately, at this point, kind of jumps into go mode. It starts issuing commands, sends Harma over here and Varamir over there, and Tormund handles some shit, hops up on a horse himself, and is like, I'll be back. Probably.
I like it because, it says, he starts basically ordering the free folk into action because they're starting to already devolve into chaos.
Right.
And Mance is like, where are those idiots going? Go get them and tell them to form up where they should be. And then Jon notes that he glances suspiciously at the wall where he's like, it's these fuckers. Like, it's this goddamn Night's Watch trying to pull some shit.
Talk shit to Jon. Is this fucking you? Like, are you serious? You're going to parlay and then sneak attack? Jon's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
If they did plan an attack, they didn't tell me. Like, because I don't know shit. And you have the right of it. We lack the men to attack, so, like...
And so Mance is like, right, it's probably the Eastwatch men then coming, because he knew that they were on their way to Castle Black,
right,
and just kind of assumes, okay, then it's probably them. And then kind of chaos happens. The battle starts for real as the Stannis' men, as we know, start taking out the outskirts of these camps.
It is it's men of the Night's Watch. It's men in black cloaks.
Right,
and Mance is like, oh, you knew fucking nothing, huh?
Right,
and Jon's like, no, I really didn't. Like, I swear. And yeah, slow as honey, they come pouring out. And so they're taking their time. They've got an army at their back. They know that this is a rout, and they're in no rush.
These are the Eastwatch by the Sea men that Stannis had picked up when he arrived by boat, which the South, King's Landing, if you recall, I think last episode we mentioned, maybe it was 2 episodes ago, that King's Landing thinks that Stannis is in Lys.
Right.
Not here.
Lys or maybe even Dorne.
Right,
or
Tywin's
Dorne, fear.
Right.
And so, Harma goes fucking charging past before Mance could say anything. She's got the goddamn dead dog's head on the spear tip, which is why I don't like Harma. And Mance says, it might be you're telling it true. They look like Eastwatch men, sailors on horses. Cotter Pike always had more guts than sense. And then we learn that Mance knows he took the Lord of Bones at Long Barrow. He might have thought to do the same with me. If so, he's a fool. He doesn't have the men. And then this is where another scout comes up and is like, Mance, there's more of them.
They've got the men, Mance.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard you. Sorry, I wasn't eavesdropping, but I heard you just say that they do, though.
Mance puts Varamir on Dala protection and tells him to see that she comes to no harm and keep a few extra eyes on Jon. If he runs, rip out his throat, and Varamir is more than happy to do that. And so Mance takes off, calling orders, arrowhead, form wedge to me, and takes off. Jon thinks to go back to the tent, to the horn, but the Shadowcat blocks him, and it's just a very cool fucking sequence of events here. Yeah. And he misses Ghost here more than ever. And Varamir begins to murmur about banners. He sees golden banners and the king, and then he starts screaming. Because Melisandre burns the fuck out of his eagle.
She spotted that thing and immediately was like, oh, no.
I'm very curious, and I can't wait to get some more Mel so that we can delve into this. But, like, did she immediately be like, oh, that's a fucking skin changer?
I can't help but think of, if you recall in the Dungeons & Dragons movie, the new one, Honor Among Thieves, there's a scene where the Red Wizard of Thay woman, I can't think of her name, is in a council meeting,
right,
and the druid is a fly, and she just all of a sudden points and starts shrieking.
Yeah.
I feel like Mel was just sitting there like, yeah, Stannis, so we'll come up on the side. And just it burst into flames.
Yeah, Varamir is writhing. The cat was screaming as well, and Jon sees the eagle burning. It burns brighter than a star, and then it flies higher and higher and higher. Val comes out at the scream, and she's like, yo, what the fuck?
What's going on?
Varamir's wolves are fighting each other. The Shadowcat races off into the trees, but he's still writhing on the ground, and Val's like, what's wrong with him? Where's Mance?
Oh, also, there's a baby coming, by the way.
Right. It started. The battle started, and she's like, it can't because there's a baby.
Yeah, she's like, it started, and Jon's like, I know, I can see and hear the swords
battle's
ringing.
Starting,
it's definitely... And she's like, no, dumbass. Baby, born. Where's the handmaid? And he's like, actually, you're going to go have to deliver this baby.
Trumpets
now,
are blowing, but Jon thinks the wildlings have no trumpets, only war horns, which he's still got the presence of mind where, like, he is catching these things.
I also like that the line that Martin wrote is Jon orders her back in the tent. He's still, to me, that's I need to make sure she stays safe. He's still looking out for them and saying, get back in there where it's safe. Don't come out here. Go help Val with the baby.
Well, it says you best get back inside the tent, he told Val.
And that, to me, that's like, he said it nicer.
Yeah,
it wasn't,
yeah.
I command you.
Right, no,
it was, you should probably get in there. Like, not just for the baby, but for her own safety.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Val would have decked him had he been like, bitch, get your ass in that tent.
Sure.
And so, yeah, the king, Jon is like, the king? Could Robert return? The boy on the Iron Throne? What the fuck? Harma gets absolutely decimated, and another flank slams into Tormund's. Giants are climbing onto mammoths. It's actual chaos, because then there's also women and children that are not fighting, that are scrambling away.
Camps. Yeah.
And Val is like, gods, why are they doing this? And he's like, go with Dala. It's not safe here. It wouldn't be safer inside, deliver the baby. Like,
Yeah.
Jon can't find Mance, but then does, cutting his way through a bunch of mounted men. The mammoths are, also fighting with the giants on them. And it's a pretty wild scene. A mammoth plucked a knight from his saddle and flung him 40 feet.
Yeah, I love the idea of Stannis's men
engaging giants and mammoths for the first time.
Like, the fact that they don't turn tail and just run. These motherfucking things. And mammoths, they've never seen mammoths.
Right.
And so them mounting these giant animals, being giants themselves, that's got to be horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these are things out of Legends. Like, they're not supposed to be real.
Although I do wonder if maybe there wasn't some kind of a pep talk by Stannis through Melisandre of, giants are real.
Right.
Expect to face them.
Well, right.
If I'm casting spells.
If we're burning skin changers out of the sky, like, there's some shit going on at the wall here. And so, yeah, it's great. I love this chapter so much, this end here. Jon is getting a few dark looks from some of the wildlings, but with Longclaw in hand, they're like, nah. And then Varamir just fucking runs off on his hands and knees. He scuttles off into the dark like a fucking...
That was actually one of his wolves in his skin. He didn't realize, and it was trying to get away the way it knows how. So it's, at this point, because we get a little more detail on Stannis's banners.
The sigils,
the heart. And
more and more men just keep coming.
And he sees the yellow and starts, thinking of Baratheons and Robert. Right. He starts hearing the cheering, like you said, the king, all these different things. But then after a minute, he's like, wait, they're not saying Robert, though.
Right. All the lines break as more men pour through. Tormund's line breaks. Mance's line breaks. Harma's head is on a pole. Like,
dog's head.
Justice.
Yeah, so good.
Justice. That's what you get for all the dogs. And yeah, Jon's like, that's it. They're done. Like, the wildlings have lost whatever the fuck this is. And yeah, Jon is trying to place it, and then he sees the banner that he hadn't. The big one. Huge yellow one with long pointed tongues. LOL, like flames, that showed a flaming heart, and another like a sheet of beaten gold with a black stag prancing and rippling in the wind. And Jon has been so removed, he doesn't know that Stannis has taken this new sigil of the flaming heart.
And so he recognizes the stag.
And he's like, Robert's here.
Until he hears the chants of the army itself. Stannis.
Yeah, and then I love it, because Jon's just like, oh, fuck this, and turns and walks into the tent. And like, no.
I was here helping deliver the baby.
Yeah,
that's all I like.
I'm on baby duty
just
now.
Leave me alone.
Like, leave me out of whatever the fuck this is. And unfortunately, spoiler alert, Jon will not be left out of whatever the fuck this is. Because once Stannis finds out that Ned Stark's bastard is here...
And this right here is all the beginning of the arc that leads... Oh, boy. My whole power just went out in my house.
Wow.
Except, thankfully, we are on a laptop that's connected to everything, so we should be able to finish out the episode.
That was crazy.
But we're going to try to roll through this a little quicker, because everything just shut down on us.
And it's back, but before,
yeah,
we're gonna deal with this.
This is the beginning of the arc of the burning of Shireen. And so we're getting there, now that they're at the north of the wall, they're going to burn all the king's blood that they have left, that they think they have left, since they're, we're going to see some switcheroos here. But I'm so excited for the future of this situation. Not just Jon and, but like Val and Dalla and Mance and Stannis and Melisandre.
Right.
This collective here is just such a sweet story that as it progresses gets wilder and wilder.
Shireen being burned is still in the future. It's still to come. It's not confirmed yet. But yes, monster is literally being born. Stannis is about to start leveraging Jon Snow and offering him everything he's ever wanted.
He's also, which is fun because we just saw Tommen give that to Ramsay, the other Snow.
Right. Ramsay's legitimized now, and Winterfell is about to fall into his and Roos's hands. Roose is now Warden of the North.
But I really love Stannis, and that because Jon just had this, as he was walking towards Mance's camp, saying, I always said I was going to prove that a bastard is a name that doesn't have to be
it's
this.
Not something terrible.
I can redeem it. And then Stannis is like, I can give you Winterfell.
I can legitimize
you. will be the Lord of Winterfell because there's nobody else besides this Bolton piece of shit. But you gotta send all your everybody with me.
And then we also are gonna get Melisandre and Jon Snow's interactions, which are a ton of fun, and Melisandre and Ghost interactions, which are also a lot of fun.
It's also I hadn't had the importance of it put on me right now, but the kissed by fire thing that they've been harping on with Jon and Ygritte, and technically Roz back with the other redhead that he almost thought about once, and now Melisandre, the actual priestess of fire.
Right.
And so
yeah, it's a great Jon chapter. It isn't the end, though, for Johnny Boy in Storm. We've still got
We got one more Jon-specific chapter, and then he appears in Sam's as well.
Oh, I think there's two more Jon?
Right.
Yeah. I think, because, I know that Sam's got two more Jon, at least. And
so 2 Jons. So left with the series, we have 2 Jons, a Samwell, a Tyrion, an Arya, and a Sansa.
Yeah. Next, though, join us for Arya. Arya will be joining the ranks of wrapping up. It's Arya's final chapter with Arya. What did I say? 13.
Storm of Swords. Yep.
Arya 13. So Arya will be saying peace out to this continent and finishing up some of her arc here before heading off to a certain house of Black and White, and that'll be a lot of fun. So we're not done with Jon yet. We're not done with Sam yet. We're not done at the Wall by a long shot, but join us next time for Arya in her final one of the Storm of Swords.
If you want to write into us about anything, send us an email, withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com. You can comment on our YouTube. You can comment on our Spotify. Reviews, rate and review us. We're trying to get a good push right now. We're hitting some swell numbers, and so we like that a lot. We appreciate you guys. As we mentioned at the top of the episode, we're working on something great for you guys that we hope you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. And I think as we close this less than 10th chapter left of this book, we'll call it a day.
Brother Harris!
Peace.